All right. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to What's It Really Like to Become a Primalista. I'm really glad that you're here. And the whole idea behind today is that there's only so much that I can do to explain what's in the training and how it all works and how it can get you from A to B quicker than, reinventing the wheel from scratch. But I thought it would be just so much more useful to hear from people who've actually. So we've got Primalistas here at really different stages, from women who've only just recently opened for business right through to women who've been doing this for 4, 5, 6 years. And because this is genuinely live, our panel looks a little bit different to the one we advertised. So unfortunately, Primalista Cat is sick and can't join us. And Ali has shingles, so she's here, but she's keeping her camera off today. And I'm really pleased to say that my ring-ins, Danielle and Manda, who said yes when I panic messaged them yesterday and asked if they'd join us, they're here. So we've also got Lisa in Ireland joining us, but it is actually 2 a.m. In the middle of the night for Lisa. So I caught up with her beforehand, and I'm going to be playing some of our conversation to you during this session. So as we go, please pop your questions in the chat. If there's something you've always wanted to ask our Primalistas, this is your chance. So let's quickly meet everybody. Amanda is joining us from the Gold Coast and has been a Primalista for over 4 years. So she's going to give us a bit of that longer term perspective, and she can only stay for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to put her straight in the hot seat. We have got Ali, who has been a Primalista in New South Wales for over 6 years and who's also a pal, which means she talks with new potential Primalistas about whether this opportunity might be right for them. So you may have spoken to Ali. Kate is one of our, give us a wave, Kate. Kate is one of our newer Primalistas. She absolutely flew through getting herself set up and has really thrown herself into both the business and the Primalista community. She's also doing some really interesting things to get her business known locally and to generate some customers. So we'll talk about that too. Angela has known about Primal Alternative for a long time before joining and still had plenty of self-doubt when she finally did it. But on her clarity call, she set herself the goal, don't work with animals, set herself the goal of being open for business within a month. And then she actually opened a week ahead of her own deadline, which is very exciting. And then Danielle is in Queensland, around the Toowoomba area, and actually discovered Primal Alternative through Facebook, which is probably exactly how quite a few of you found Primal Alternative as well. And she's retired from her career at the beginning of the year. She loves baking, and she wanted something flexible she could do that works around her family from home. Now she's open for business and getting herself out there doing the markets. So a really cool panel today, right? So let's get right into it. Amanda, let's start with you because I know I've only got you for a little while. So take us back 4 years. What did life look like before you became a Primalista, and what attracted you to it?
I was a chef back in the UK and moved over to Australia for a different way of life. Had no intentions whatsoever of getting back in the kitchen doing anything, but always at the back of my mind, have loved creating food for people. I had a little play with trying to do some, leftover family meals as ready meals for people at my workplace. That kind of went okay. But I knew to scale that, I'd have to get into doing all the boring stuff that H does so beautifully: labels, marketing, design, food testing, all of that. So I always put it in the too hard basket. And then I saw Primal and years before and saw it and thought, yeah, it's okay, it looks good, but it would mean me jumping out of my comfort zone to a degree. So I just always left that on the back burner too. And then I was diagnosed celiac. And it's like, okay, this seems like there was just a bunch of things that fell into place to make it the right time. My partner had been unwell, was a lot better. Kid had settled in at school. I was looking at changing my job. Actually, H, that's what happened, hey? I had a big fallout with my boss, and you were doing a call, one of these calls, and I jumped on it and registered the next day, going the next day.
Yay.
So yeah, that was it. That was kind of like, it was just a whole bunch of coincidences that led me to being in the right place at the right time.
Is there anything that nearly stopped you from joining?
Oh yeah, yeah. Putting myself out there. Like, I know that you did all the hard work behind the scenes work, and obviously you do marketing on Facebook and the things as well, but actually going out and talking to people scared the pants off me. So yeah, that was my thing. I think that was the main thing. The money side of it I was okay with. I could see, you showed us evidence that it works as a business. So I was okay with all of that. It was just me getting in my way.
Classic.
Yeah.
So what's been
Yeah.
what would you say has been the biggest benefit for you of becoming a Primalista?
The flexibility to be able to make it work in my somewhat hectic life. I love that I love that it can ebb and flow with where I am in over the last 4 years, but nearly 5 years, H.
Oh.
5 years in December. So yeah, the I have periods of time where I'm super busy. I always get a couple of orders at the start of the school holidays. So now, and I've learned that over the last year or so, that's how it's come in. So every school holiday, then they're teachers and they just get organized and they do big orders. So the first couple of weeks of school holidays, or the first week, I tend to do a bit more marketing around that and bake and have that as a busy period. And then the rest of it just ebbs and flows as I want it to. If I need to get a bit busier, I'll do some community group Facebook posts or message a few customers. And if I haven't got time to do it, I just say that my kitchen's closed. If I'm away for a period of time, for a month or so, I just know that I've got too much on. I just put a little thing on my website saying kitchen closed, orders reopen, whatever date, and get back into it again.
I love that. That's so
yeah,
cool.
Me too.
It's very cool.
So thank you for letting us do that.
Yeah. Well, it's your business. You can do what you want.
Exactly.
Looking over the last 4, nearly 5 years, what are you most proud of?
Wow, that's a good.
Oh, you didn't get any question prep like everyone else did.
Yeah. No. But what am I most proud of? I think proving that I can do it, that I can push myself outside of those comfort zones. I still don't love approaching new stockists and things, but I'm okay with it. But what I absolutely love is when I get a new customer that's found me through just a website search or from your website, and then they order a second time. That's the beauty of it. Like when you get a repeat order, it's like, oh yeah, this is great. And then they order again and again and again. So yeah, just pushing out the comfort zone. Evidence that I can do it all.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Now, before I let you go, you've got 4, nearly 5 years of hindsight now. And you said that you were at one of these things yourself 5 years ago. So if someone's watching us today live or they're watching the replay and they want to do this, but they keep, talking themselves out of it, what would you say to her?
Just give it a try. Honestly, just give it a try. You will make time. I'm teaching this at the moment with one of my other hats on around time management and priorities. And it's really about just deciding what it is that you really want to do. What changes do you want to make in your life? And then making those changes a priority, because we're all too busy. Our days are all full. Like we're mums, grandparents, aunties, like whatever we are, we have full days. And it's just around finding the priority, making it the priority, and then just popping some time aside and getting it done. But it's so easy. Like everything's just so easy. The recipes are easy. It's all done. Like just do it. Jump in. And the community, you can obviously showcase the other Primalistas, but we've just got such a beautiful community. So even if you're a bit of a loner, like we've got each other. And if you're a bit more out there, come and join the party.
Yeah. Right. And I know there's so many Primalistas that don't really comment or post much in the group, but they're reading everything and reading like we got like 10 years of chat in there, and they're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting so much gems from it, because it really is a super supportive community and everybody wants to
Yeah.
help each other out, which I love. It's the best part
Yeah.
of it.
Hints and tips and updates and chocolates on special now. Go buy it. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Amanda, thank you so much. I
Thank
really
you.
wanted people to hear from someone who's actually been living this for a few years. So
Mm,
thank you so much for jumping in at short notice. You're off the hook
amazing.
now.
That's all right.
So
Beautiful.
you can
Have a
leave
lovely
us
day.
whenever you like. Thank you
All
so
right. I'll
much.
jump off. All right. Take
Awesome.
care.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye. So we're going to look a little bit at why did you become a Primalista? So let's go back to the beginning for some of our remaining Primalistas that are here now, because none of you just woke up one morning and randomly decided to start a grain-free baking business, right? All right. So Danielle, let's start with you, because you actually found Primal Alternative on Facebook. Do you remember what you saw that made you stop and think, ooh, what's this?
Yeah, I don't remember that far back, but I think it was because it basically said everything was done for you, like the labeling and the recipes, and the business side of it was all put together. And there was training to teach you how to do it. So I thought, well, I've thought about getting in the kitchen before and doing something, and just the thought of doing all that stuff just blows my mind. So the fact that it's all done for you is such a bonus, and it's just all there, and you can just start getting stuff made in the kitchen and get it out there.
So you'd retired from your career at the beginning of this year. So what were you looking for at that point in your life?
I was looking for flexibility in something that I could do from home. And I guess, yeah, that's the main thing, because I have, two older sisters that rely on me to help them out when they need to go to medical appointments and that kind of thing. And working full time was just not working for me anymore. So, yeah, just the flexibility of being able to manage my own time and do it when I wanted and how I wanted.
Love it. And what was it about Primal Alternative that made you think this could actually work for you?
I think it's because I know a lot of people who are celiacs and gluten-free, and I guess I know that there's, people looking for those kinds of products. So I just thought that would be the best way to build a business.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. So, Angela, your story was very different, because you'd actually known about Primal Alternative for quite a long time. What kept it in the back of your mind, and what finally made you decide to join?
Um, Look, I heard about you years ago through listening to Up for a Chat podcast with Cindy O'Meara and Kim and Morrison, and then Marcus Pierce as well. And it was just always in the background, and being gluten-free myself for many, many years, I just loved the idea of it. And I thought, gee, I'd love to do that. But probably from that time, I'd moved quite a few times to different states. I thought, oh, it's not right. And then I moved back here from Sydney 3 years ago, and I thought, I should be doing it. And then something happened, life got in the way, and then I started working as a part-time job, and then it appeared again. I mean, I was still following on Facebook and, getting all the emails and everything. And I thought, why not? In January, February, I thought, why not? I'm going to give it a go. So that's what I did. Spoke to you, signed up, and here I am.
Was there anything that nearly stopped you?
Oh, just the self-confidence, like, oh, who's going to buy anything from me? And I thought, well, I practice what I preach. I've always lived this sort of lifestyle, the low tox, the no additives, preserved. That's me. And everyone I know knows that's me. And when I told people that I was doing it, they went, oh my God, that is just you. You should have been doing this years ago. And I could have, but I didn't. And so, yeah, that sort of put me off a bit. Panicking about, getting the sales and things. That was just always in the back of my mind. But thought, give it a go. If you don't try, you'll never know. So, and I didn't want to regret not trying,
Yeah, 100%. So, Kate, what about you? What did life look like before Primal Alternative, and what first attracted you to becoming a Primalista?
Well, I'm probably the opposite to Angela in that I'm only fairly new to that kind of low top grain-free way of eating, and I saw the benefits that it had for me and thought there are other people that can benefit from this. I have always loved baking. Baking's my love language. I go to a party, I take cakes. Someone's sick, I take something for them to keep them going whilst they're recovering. So it's always been my love language. I always wanted to start a bakery business, and I was very comfortable with the marketing sales side of things. That's my other career. Like Danny, it was the packaging and the legal stuff and how can I bake from home? Am I allowed to bake from home? So that's what appealed to me about Primal Alternative. It popped up in my Facebook, and I didn't, when they say, when you talk about things, they're listening and it comes up. I was thinking about it. I swear it got into my brain and it popped up, and I just went, well, let's look into this. And pretty quickly, I did quite a bit of research, I think. I was lucky enough to speak to Emily, who unfortunately isn't on the call today, but she's been a Primalista for 6 years, and she was the final step for me. I'd spoken to H, and she's the founder. Of course, she's going to give me the good side of the business, but I was lucky enough to connect with Emily and have a chat to her, and she didn't convince me, but what we spoke about and the way she spoke about the business convinced me that it was right for me.
Brilliant. And was there anything that nearly stopped you from joining?
Look, it's a financial investment. That's part of it. And I'm a single parent. I'm working hard to secure my future and make a good life for my kids. So there's a financial investment. But again, as I said, I did my research, and I'm confident that investment is well placed.
Awesome. All right, Ali, you've got 6 years of hindsight now. Take us back to the beginning. What happened in your life when you found Primal Alternative, and why did you decide to do it?
I actually came across Primal Alternative at a Joe Whitney event, and there was somebody there, and they had got some, I think they were giving us some cookie in a bag and something else, and I was like, oh, this is actually quite nice. I can eat this. And I didn't do anything about it at the time, but I was like, oh, just sort of noted it, and Elise was there, and it was a bit of a big event, which is great. And then I had a bit of a health crisis, couldn't do a lot of things, and started to get a bit better out of that. And I just wanted to do something different. I'd always been interested in food. I mean, there was a sliding doors moment when nutrition and food could have been my career at the age of 18 onwards, and it wasn't. I chose a different route, but it's always been there for me. It's always been something I've been interested in. And I got to a point where sort of my son was doing things with my husband, doing some sports and things, and he and I liked cooking together, and I wanted to watch less television. And I was like, what can I do, And I saw, obviously, the ads, and I sort of knew the brand. And I thought, you know what, this would be great. This could be something I could do with my son, Miles. And that could be like our thing. He'd probably sing with his dad, and it was something great because I love cooking. So it was like, oh, this will be good. So that was me. But I wanted the fun part of that. I wanted the hey, look, I'm cooking, I'm baking things for people. This is great. But I didn't really want all the hassle or all the associated business stuff that goes with it. And, I have run a business before, so I kind of knew how much there is involved in that. And so, when I could come along and kind of buy a business in a box model that did all that kind of stuff for me that I didn't really love and wasn't the fun that I was looking for, that was great, So it was like, oh, actually, this is pretty good. I can, the labelling sorted, how to get your kitchen approved and what to do with the council, and You know, the recipes were there and it was just easy. I could actually jump straight into the bit that I wanted to do and enjoy that. And all the rest of it was there. There was a structure, there was a framework. But you're still going to do that stuff, right? But you know, it's great that, you know, UH spent all your time doing that and taking the pain of how do we make labels compliant and joyful things like that we don't have to do, you know. And obviously you constantly check that the items are products, and it just really appealed to me because it was there for me. I could do the training at any place I wanted to. And so it was like, yeah. And look, obviously anything that's a financial investment, you always kind of second guess yourself. But sometimes in life, I think you have to say, don't let people tell you what you can't do, you know, work out for yourself what you can do and give it a go, because even we can surprise ourselves as well sometimes along the way, you know. But if we don't jump sometimes and take that little bit of a leap of faith, then we don't get to do that. So I think sometimes you just got to go, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go. And I'm lucky I've got a really supportive family, so everyone was, you know, go for it. And so, yeah, I'm so glad I did. And 6 years later, you know, I'm still here and talking to other people about that journey.
Wow, I love that. Thank you, Ellie. Okay, so you joined. What happened next? And I'm going to go to Danielle. So that's probably the bit people on this call and watching this replay are most curious about, right? You've thought about it, you've worried about it, you finally said yes. What actually happens next? So Danielle, I'm a bit nervous about asking this question. I've never asked Danielle this question before, but you've got quite an interesting perspective because you spent around 15 years working in the training and the RTO world. So once you actually got inside the Primalista training, what did you think of it?
No, it's actually very, very good. There's obviously a lot of information there, and it does take a long time to work through. Well, depends on how much time you have, I suppose. You can work through it at your own pace, which is fine. I don't even think I finished mine. I'm like, there's still heaps of it that I haven't looked at yet, to be honest. Mainly that's, I think, the recipes. So that's fine. I just look at them when I need to. And but, you know, the fact that you've got access to it full time and you can go back and look at parts of it anytime you want to, that's, you know, absolutely fantastic. There's all the bonuses that you've got in there that, you know, you didn't have to add in for us. So those are fantastic too. Yeah, the fact that it's self-paced and easy to follow, and, you know, we can ask questions down the bottom of any section of it is really, really good. And of course, you know, as far as training goes, there's no test and no no assessment of our abilities at the end of it. We can just do our own thing. So yeah, from a training point of view, it's fantastic.
Oh, phew. I'm glad to hear that. I like that. I like some of those things you said. I'm gonna use those. That's very good. That's very good. And how did you find working through it yourself? I mean, you said, you know, there's still some stuff in there. You haven't got through it all, but yet you're open and you're doing markets and you're like 5 months into the journey. So how did you find working through the training yourself?
Yeah, it was fine. It was, you know, like the parts that I haven't looked at, like I said, are probably recipes that I haven't got to yet, or some of the bonus stuff. So as far as the main part of it goes, yeah, I worked through all of that in the first, you know, month or so, because I was actually working part-time as well at another casual job. So yeah, it was fine. It was easy enough to follow and just go for it.
Awesome. So Kate, you got through the training and you got yourself up and running really quickly. I mean, Danielle's saying it took her about a month to go through what she needed to get actually at the market, which is great. So you got yourself up and running real quick. So what do you think helped you create that momentum, and how fast did you do it?
Oh, I did it very quickly. I think I was knocking on your door saying, Helen, where's the rest? Let's go.
You did.
Yeah, I did. I found the training really good. I just worked through it methodically. I'm like Danny, I'm probably about to the end of module 4 and still got that to work through. But I felt after probably module 3, after working through those, I was able to kind of start. I work full time and I travel 40 minutes to and from work. So I popped them up on those podcasts as I was driving. The only downfall with that was that I couldn't make notes. So I'd sometimes have to go home and say there was stuff I needed to note there. So I would recommend anyone who's starting up to have a piece of paper and a pad there and take notes as you go along and perhaps even reference where certain information is. Oh gosh, I've lost track of the full question now, H. I got through it very quickly. I think in the first weekend I got through what I needed to know to kind of get up and running. And then you started actioning and then thought I had to go back. So, for example, I actioned, getting my council approval. What did I need to do there? And then I moved on to, ordering labels or trying an ingredient. So I kind of smashed it out in one weekend, but then revisited as I needed to.
Yeah, perfect. And that's great. So you smashed it out really in a weekend. So for people who are new to what the training looks like, there's 6 modules. The first sounds like a lot, but the first 3 are what you need to be getting open for business, getting equipped and making sales. So those are the 3 core trainings. And you kind of go through it and then you do it and then you don't have to revisit it. I like listening to training as a podcast in the car as well, which is you can just crush it and smash it out because it spends so long in the car. But then also the training is written as well. So if you need to go back and just look at it, it's there as well. And then the other modules, the 4th one is finance and admin, which is really how to know your numbers, not just rely on your tax accountant at the end of the year, but know your numbers so you know what decisions to make, and also how to pay yourself first and put money aside to really create a bit of financial independence for yourself. And then the other 2 modules are really just support, bonuses, and then the recipes, which is just you sort of print them off once and that's it. So it sounds like you've all crushed it, the core training anyway, which is really, really good. So Kate, was there anything about the training or getting set up that was easier than you expected?
I think pretty much all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, everything was easy. I think like from what I've read in the very supportive chat group or Facebook group, I think the biggest challenge most people face is, or the biggest fear they have is the council approval of your kitchen. It was easy. I mean, you set out what we needed to do and I found that really easy. Because it's, you have to tell me the phrase here, H, it's the low risk. It's a low risk product. My council, what's the name? Assessor just came out and went, yep, tick, 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 tick. I was a bit concerned because I have a dog. And she said, look, as long as the dog's not in the kitchen when you're cooking, that's fine. And she's not. So, and she actually doesn't go in my kitchen. So there's no risk there. But I was a bit concerned about that. I think, and probably a bit like Angela, the trickiest part for me was maybe setting up the low-tech option of sales. I had some challenges with that, but I just used AI and just, if I came up against a roadblock, I just kind of chucked it into AI and worked out what I needed to do to overcome it.
Perfect. So, Angela, how did you find the training and was it what you expected when you joined?
I loved it. I love methodical stuff and I sort of flicked through it quickly and then I went back to each module and I have a look at it every day, really, go back and forth. And now what was that again, and go back and check things. And I love the way it was set out. And I've thoroughly looked at it, thoroughly. So, I loved it. I thought it was really good.
Good. Now, I know self-doubt was a big part of your own story. And on your clarity call with me, you set yourself the goal of being open within a month. Then you actually opened a week early. So what changed between, I'm not sure if I can do this, and then actually doing it?
Oh, look, I wanted to have everything organised. I wanted to have the social media side done, the ordering system. I wanted that all spot on. And my daughter, luckily, who lives in Sydney, was able to do a lot of that for me and help me out, but she has her own life and I was trying to fit in with her and she was moving and her work commitments, and it sort of all suddenly fell together and we had a few sessions and smashed it out, and then it sort of all happened. I thought, all right, well, if I don't do it, I've got to do it. I've got to do it now. And so I did, and put it all on my social media and started from there.
Love it. Love it. Now, here's a question for the whole panel. So if you want to answer this question, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you. So what surprised you most once you actually got started?
I was, even though I'm a marketer and a salesperson, I was a little dubious about sharing it amongst my own networks. I didn't want to seem like I was part of a, MLM, tap into your networks. And then actually when I was invited to participate in this, I made a post on my Facebook and said, well, cat's out the bag. This is something that I'm doing. And I was so surprised at how interested my friends and connections were. I kind of expected people to go, oh, God, here we go, someone else starting something up that they want us to buy from them or get involved in. I had so many positive comments and so many people invested in hearing what I was doing.
I love that. That's so cool. And it's funny because when we do think about where we're going to get our customers from, we do tend to think immediate network, but usually your best customers right now will be strangers that you don't know yet. But you will still get, and you don't need to, the thing I love about this is you don't need to rely on your friends and family to make you have a business, which is really good. Anyone else want to answer that one? Angela, just unmute you again. Sorry.
Yeah, I was similar. I didn't want to have my friends and family thinking, oh my God, we've got to buy something from her, because they're not like me. They have different dietary issues. It's not really what they're interested in. So I didn't really push it, but they're the ones that have been ordering everything and they're friends and they've reordered and they love the product. So, it's not just the fact that they're gluten-free, grain-free. They don't really care about that, but they just love the taste of them and they've reordered. So, yeah, I didn't really want to have people feel obligated to buy something from me, and I said that from day one. But, if they do, and that's great. And they can spread the words. It's them, their friends, still the friends, that may have a dietary issue too, that would be looking for something like that. So
yeah, brilliant. Word of mouth is definitely the best marketing, for sure. So where do customers actually come from? So let's tackle one of the big questions, because it's one thing to say, great, I can bake all of this amazing food, but then it comes to who's going to buy it. And then very shortly followed by who's going to buy it from me. They might buy it from all those other people, but they might not buy it from me. So Danielle, I would love to ask you this one. Before joining, you actually said, and I quote, "I'm not a marketing person." So how are you feeling about that now that you're actually out there?
I started my business just by going to starting at a local farmers market once a fortnight, and I enjoy doing that. Apart from getting up at 4:30 in the morning, to be there. But as far as marketing to stockists and approaching them, that's probably the area that I'm still not too comfortable with. So I feel better about actually out there talking to people one-on-one when they approach me at the stall, which is fine. I have no problem with that. It's just the thought of, will any retail people actually want to talk to me? So, yeah, that was my main. I'm not a marketer.
Yeah. But you started doing the markets, which I know we had a little chat before this, and I said I think that's just more scary, standing behind a stall, having people coming at you, than just going one-on-one meeting. But you started doing the markets, so tell us what's that been like, and what sort of response have you been getting to the products?
Full on, it's been quite slow building up, but week to week, I think probably from the very beginning. Maybe the second time I was there, I got a customer who was a repeat customer, and she orders 2 loaves every single fortnight. So, that was encouraging. And I think just talking to people in general, when they come to the stall and, want to know what we do, some of them are just happy to look at the products and decide for themselves whether they want them or not. Others, ask me all sorts of questions and make me explain what is grain-free.
Oh, yes.
And but most of them are just very friendly and very interested in the fact that they can get something other than what all the other bakers at the markets are offering, because we have quite a few large retail bakers who come to the markets, like Baker's Duck and some of the well-established actual bakeries who just sell out constantly all day long, whereas my market stall is very much smaller business. But yeah, it's just, I think, getting out there and seeing what other the other stall holders have to offer as well. I was telling you before that it depends on the actual market that you go to, because we have a couple that I investigated just by visiting and wandering around and sussing out the atmosphere as to what the markets were like, and that's why I chose the one that I did, because I felt that it was the better fit for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. So, Kate, you have started to do a bit to get yourself out there and get your products known locally. So what are some of the things you've been doing to get yourself out there?
Yeah, look, I'm going down the stockist route. Primarily, I have a retail background back in the day. So I used to own supermarkets, small supermarkets. So I've been approaching retailers and trying to get them to stock the products. It's not easy. It is a bit of a grind. There are some who will just not respond because they'll look at the price. The price might put them off. The ones that do respond with objections are my favourites, because I can, again, with the information that you provided and the training that you provided, I can address them. So, these products are expensive. Yeah, they are expensive, but people who want to live this lifestyle and who do lead this lifestyle understand the quality of the product and the fact that it is worth paying that bit extra. And even things like, you've got a smaller loaf, but gee, they're dense, and you don't need as big a slice of this loaf as you do your kind of tip-top Wonder White that's, rubbish. What are some other objections that I've had? It's not gluten-free. Well, we can't claim it's gluten-free because it's made in a home-based kitchen, but there is no gluten in it, so it's grain-free. So I'm going down that route. I've got someone that's close, which will be my first stockist, and it's quite a large one. So if I can get my foot in the door there, I'm just dealing with the last objection with them, and I think I'll get it over the line. So that's the route that I'm taking is stockist.
Love it. Ali and Angela, what have the rest of you found is working to get your name out there and finding customers?
Me?
And Ali, yep, both of you.
A slow start. As I said, it's been friends and family and friends of family and family of friends, that type of thing. But I am looking at putting some packet mixes in where I work on the shelves as a start, with my brochures and things to, order if you want freshly made things. So I'm negotiating that at the moment with my employer. So that looks promising. So that would be great for me, because we get a lot of clients in there, and so that's a start, and then just sort of see how that progresses, maybe approach some more if it works out, but that's what I'll be planning to do.
And Ali?
I think for me, there's obviously, I've been doing this for a while. There's been a few different things, and definitely I've done markets like Danielle and still got some customers from markets. kits, although I'm not actively doing those at the moment. Also, I have naturopaths, your brand. I have one guy, certainly, he has seed, though. He ordered like every week virtually for about 9 months until he sort of sorted his issues out, which is great. There's just so many different things. And I think, obviously, social media can play a part in that. Is getting sort of known. But yeah, like I say, I've still got some customers that used to come to me at market that, still ordered from me on my online shop. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now I want to take you all somewhere completely different. So Lisa is our Primalista in Ireland. She's brand new Primalista. And I really wanted you to hear her story because she first discovered Primal Alternative back in 2018, and she didn't join until 2026. So if you've been following Primal Alternative for years and periodically thinking, maybe one day, then you're definitely not on your own. So obviously I wasn't going to drag Lisa out of bed at 2 a.m. to join us. So I caught up with her with the magic of television beforehand. And I asked her what kept Primal Alternative in the back of her mind for all of those years and what finally made her say yes and why she believes there's a place for Primal Alternative on the other side of the world. So now I'm going to share this video with you. Hopefully you can all see it. So now I'm with Lisa in Ireland. Lisa, you've been following Primal Alternative since 2018. So what first caught your attention?
Well, first out of the products. I guess I was studying functional nutrition through the Nutrition Academy, and I was going on a journey and looking for products that were now really feeding my ethos of what I was learning and all of that sort of stuff, and going to supermarkets and looking on shelves and being like, oh dear God, I can't eat anything. There's nothing here. And then I guess through that, and then through the Nutrition Summit, I had the pleasure of meeting you, and we hit it off straight away. I loved everything about your products. I loved everything about what you stood for. And it just spoke to me. And it's been something that has stayed with me really since we met in 2018.
And you were living in Sydney then, or New South Wales then, and then you've moved back to Ireland. So what's kept you interested all those years? 8 years?
Yeah, I know, crazy. It is crazy. Again, I suppose even when I moved back to Ireland, I found things again very different. So in Australia, I was able to establish a certain type of lifestyle and had a bit more exposure to products, including Primal Alternative, and was using the products and all of that sort of thing. Came back here and it was just like, whoa, where do I go? What do I do? And it was quite overwhelming. And when I moved back here, it was in the thick of COVID and life was crazy. And I thought I would come back and just go, I'm going to change the world and I'm going to do all this stuff. And then life went, no, not yet. And I think it was just always something there that was in the back of my head as something that I wanted to do. I remember I had vision boards, and Primal Alternative was always something that was on there for me. So even though I didn't have access to it, it was just always something that when I was thinking about food, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do and how could I do it, and it was just always there. It was always something I came back to as something that somehow I knew I needed to connect to it in some way, even though I was here.
So what finally made you decide that now is the right time?
Because I just really feel that there's a need for it. I look around and again, there's just this world of ultra processed foods. And I see people close to me and so many people with food sensitivities and issues with gluten and issues with this and that. And I see young kids and the food that they're eating and the food that's available to them and pushed at them. And just in Ireland at the moment, there seems to be this push really around reducing ultra processed foods. And I can see it. And I suppose I've connected now over those 5 years. I've connected with people on Instagram and on other platforms. And there just seems to be this growing awareness of the importance of getting back to real whole foods. And I was like, oh my God, I need to start a big business and I need to create all of these products and I need to do And it was just too overwhelming. I'm a mom. I have 3 young kids. I work part-time. I have a husband who has bought and runs his own business. So life is busy, busy. And it just, again, was this thing that I just came coming back to. We're going like, I don't have to reinvent the wheel here. I don't have to invest tens and hundreds of thousands of euros to try to start something when I know that there is this product that is amazing. I've used it. I have felt it in my own body. I know where it comes from. I know you. So why not start there? And that was really, I just thought no more putting it on the long finger. I have this burning desire to writing, which is actually really good for me because I can listen, but then I'm really someone who likes to sit down, go through, take out my pieces, put it in my own language, and that's how I learn. So for me, I find that really beneficial.
So what are your plans for Ireland?
Initially, yeah. So funny enough, I already have people coming and saying, did I hear that you're going to be doing these products and you're going to be starting? I was like, and everyone was like, call me when you do it and that sort of thing. So really my big thing is to start local. I've created a good base of people. I have a lot of people that come up to me and ask me about food and nutrition anyway. And it's like, I've created a bit of a circle of people. So I've developed a bit of interest in that alone. When people saying to me, oh, I know my friend is she'd be totally interested in that. I have another friend of mine who's not too far away. He's opened her own wellness center and she has this amazing kitchen and shop. And she's like, oh my God, come do it here. So there's all of these things that just seem to be coming at me. And I just feel like, okay, I'm listening. The universe is coming at me and I'm finally kind of going, I'm going to respond and I'm going to do something. So yeah. So that's kind of where it's all.
Love it.
It's all.
And what do you hope that being a Primalista will give you?
I hope that it will give me the opportunity to really step into this space, the health, it's not even nutrition. It's kind of like the health, but like my whole ethos and the whole thing I really want to do is really help people to get back to basics, reconnect with their bodies, reconnect with what nourishes them. And I feel like this is just a really big stepping stone for me to be able to step into that and just help people just stop the noise, stop looking outwards for all of these things and all that information that comes, and just be like, you know what, just get back to doing the basic stuff and you will feel better in every area of your life. It's not just about the food you eat, it's about everything that sits around that. So I'm hoping that it just gives me that opportunity to really step into what I believe I'm meant to be doing. Like, I just really do believe in it. And I think Primal Alternative has always just been that thing for me that's kind of like, it's like that low risk investment for me to be able to feel like, okay, I can do this. I can step in. It's established. I can make this work and I can grow. Other things will come. Other things will grow. And it's the start of something I believe is amazing. There's not a part of me that doesn't think that. So I'm super excited.
Lisa is going to be recruiting Irish Primalistas across the country and maybe even into the UK. So Lisa, what would you say is the best way for people to reach out to you? It would probably be through book a call, have a chat to you, see what it would be like for them in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, do book a call, let's have a chat. I can go over any questions or even like hesitancies or whatever it is, because I just think, yeah, you just got to take a step. And if it's something that you're thinking about doing, I hear you, thought about it. You know, I think you know when you know. And I'd be there to kind of just really encourage people to do it.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to an army of Primalista bakers in Ireland. It's going to be amazing. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time today. I really appreciate it. All right. Hopefully you're all still there. Yay. Okay. All right. So we are going to have a little question to the whole of the panel about the topic that we're sort of moving into now is like what this has actually given you so far. So I want to come back to something, that's bigger than the training and the markets and the baking. What's been the biggest benefit so far of becoming a Primalista for you? Who would like to answer that one for us? Ali, how am I going to know if you want to? You'll just have to message me in the chat. Angela?
Yep. For me, it's just given me a new lease on life and a new sense of purpose. Like I'm doing something that's, as Lisa was saying, you know, it's beautiful food and it's nourishing and it's very good for people and it's something I've always wanted to do over the years, but never really sort of had the, you know, didn't think I had the skills to do anything like that, and walked in with this, with everything virtually done for you, and all you got to really do is make it. So yeah, no, it's a special purpose in my life, I think. Yeah.
Love it. Anybody else want to ask the biggest benefit of becoming a Primalista? Kate?
I'm probably very early in the journey, but what I can see is that it's going to make me independent. I've always wanted to work for myself. Again, it's been a while since I've done that. You know, I'm sort of looking into the years where I want to transition out of working hard for someone else, and I really want to create my own independence and provide a role model for my kids. So that's where I see this going to take me. Still very early in the journey.
Ali?
For me, although I've got like a corporate job, people then kind of go, oh, you know, you must have this and you must have this. Yeah, and people tend to think that you're all very confident, but talking to strangers was not something I was confident about. But markets definitely gave me a whole different perspective on that, and yeah, like just generally boosted my confidence overall. It gave me some fantastic quality time and continues to do with my son. Yeah, we have fun. We enjoy doing that, baking together, and you know, we were doing deliveries when he was doing his fees, and we had some good fun with that. So because it's flexible what you can do. So yeah, lots of unexpected benefits.
Love it. And we're just sort of running into our final questions now. So this one is again for the whole panel. Just put your hand up if you'd like to answer it. What are you most proud of? Yes, please, Kate.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer. I think just taking the plunge, just showing confidence in myself, and I think just putting myself out there. I'm really proud that I've taken that step, and yeah.
Love it. Love it. Anybody else want to answer that one? Go for it, Angela.
Yeah, same too. I think, you know, at my stage of life, you know, most of my friends are either retired or looking at retirement, and I'm just here and starting a new business at this age, which, you know, can be a bit overwhelming, I think. But I'm glad I've done it. I think it was took a little bit of guts to do, but I'm glad I've done it, and I've had great support from my family, my kids, and yes, I'm glad I've done it.
Love it. Love it. And obviously, for the people who are live here today, if there are any questions of what you want to know, please do add them into the chat, because this is the last couple of minutes before we wrap up. So I've got one last question for you all, Primalistas, and I'd love a fairly quick answer from each of you, if possible. There's someone watching us right now who is really interested in starting a primal alternative business. Maybe she's been following for a few weeks. Maybe she's been following for 8 years, like Lisa, and she keeps thinking about it. But she's also keeps finding reasons to talk herself out of it. What would you say to her? And we'll start with you, Ali.
You just, you know, believe in yourself, right? Well, we're often great problem solvers and multitaskers, and sometimes we forget the power of that. So, you know, give it a go, jump in, and you will be able to solve any little niggles you have, and you'll be able to solve them. You'll be able to multitask. It's so flexible. You can, you know, do things when it suits you. Jump in.
Love it. Angela.
Yeah, same thing. Just do it. I think it's a great thing to do, and just see where it leads you. You know, like, you know, it's a great opportunity, and you can make it what you want to make it.
Kate.
Yeah, I'm saying back yourself. You know, it can be what you want it to be. It can, again, I'm at the beginning of my journey, but I can see it can be a little side hustle, or it can be what you do. So just back yourself.
Danielle.
I just agree with everyone else. Just, you know, if it's something that you are really passionate about and it fits your lifestyle, which, you know, because it's so flexible, I do other jobs as well as this. So even though I'm supposed to be retired. all of them added together don't even make a full-time job, but they are what I want to do at the moment because it gives me that freedom to be here for my sisters and just to doing this gets me, up and thinking about things. Gives, like Angela said, some purpose to do something every day. When I first stopped my full-time job, I think I was like, what do I do with the day? And I was just, getting so depressed and watching television and doing crossword puzzles and who cares? And I needed to do something that was really purposeful and would benefit me financially, plus, get those products out there. So yeah, just if it fits your lifestyle and you want to do it, just do it.
Love it. Love it. So we've got some questions from actual people here, which is exciting. Thanks, Joe. So Joe says, hello, hi. Is there a wholesale price on the products when you're selling to stockists? Who wants to answer that one?
I can answer that one. Yes, there is. So there's a wholesale, again, with all the training that H provides. There's also a Google Drive and some marketing materials, and there's both a customer brochure and a stockist brochure in there, and the pricing is different. One's for obviously a wholesale price, one's a retail price, direct to customer.
And the next question is, where do you source the ingredients? Who wants to answer that one?
Okay.
Angela?
You can get wholesale accounts with big companies like the Melbourne Nut Company. We can get almond meal. I've got an account with Honest to Goodness where I get, which I was using anyway for myself, and I get quite a bit of stuff from there as well. There's a few other places. And then for the smaller sort of things, you can look around for different sales and things and get things cheaper at supermarkets and things like that. But for your big stuff, you can get bulk from quite a few companies out there. And there's a list in the training of places you can try. There's a comparison spreadsheet looking at all the different prices at the different places. And of course, it depends where you live with your freight and things like that as well.
Yeah, great. And all these links of you don't just, you've got your ABN as a business, so you can set up wholesale accounts as a business. I give you the best 5 suppliers that Primalistas have loved to buy from over the last 10 years in Australia. So you can then, you don't have to start, searching more. How much is this almond meal? How much is this? We give you the lists and the emails and the links to just go and order. So that's good. And another question, how much equipment do you need to buy to start? Who wants to answer that? Ali, what about you?
Yeah, I think it depends. You might just choose a handful of the products to start off with. You might go, I'm going to learn 5 in the first few weeks or whatever. So, what you need might depend on that. If you start with pizzas, you might need some pizza trays, or start with the loaves, you might have some loaf tins. You may already have some of those things and some form of a mixer or something. Obviously, there is a lot of people that use certain mixes, but you don't need to have one of those. You'll need some packaging, obviously, so that you can sell the products. And again, that depends on what you do, what you're starting with. You might choose to start with granolas, you might buy some pouches or, So I think, it just kind of depends on what you want to start with, but you can just start, small with your equipment and just buy a few things that you need. And then as you get used to sort of making, probably the whole product range, which I think most people eventually end up doing, you can add bits of equipment that you want. And even something simple, like I bought myself some little stands to make packet mixes that hold the packet over. Oh, they weren't expensive. I think I got them from the Granola shop. Oh, like one of the best things I ever bought. So, it doesn't have to be expensive things. So, but yeah, you can just start with as much as you want to do. I think most people start with a few products and then, work their way through them.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. We're just slightly over the hour. So thank you so much, Primalistas, and for your great questions, potential Primalistas. I think what I love about hearing these stories is that there isn't really just like one type of Primalista, right? Some people discover us and get started straight away, and then some follow along for years before the timing's right. Some come in feeling really confident. Some absolutely don't. Some love doing markets. Some love doing pre-orders. Some want to get their products into the local shops and cafes. But you don't need to have all of that worked out before you start. That's what we help you work out. And hopefully today has given you a much better feel for what becoming a Primalista actually looks like from the people who are actually doing it. So if you've been watching today and thinking, I reckon I could do this, then the next step is to book a call at primalalternative.com/call. During that, we'll just talk about what you're looking for. We'll see if the license is a match, see if it's a good fit, answer your questions. And yeah, if it looks good, then we'll show you how to get started. So thank you so much for joining us, and a huge, huge hug. And thank you to our Primalistas for being here, being so generous with your time and your stories. So before we wrap up, what I would love to do is we're just going to take a little picture of Primalistas that are here. And I've got Joe in the picture too. Hi, Joe. Do you mind being in the picture? You don't want to be in the picture? No, don't put me in the picture. All right, we'll get rid of this one too. And then I think that's everybody that's here. Yeah. So we'll just do a quick, if everyone can just give us a wave and a smile. 1, 2, 3. That'd be great. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for your time. It was really nice to spend the morning with you. Bye.
Thanks, Ange.
Thanks, Bye.